Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's How To Tuesday. How To Tuesday is a portion of the show where I either address questions or some experiences that I've had that I believe we could all benefit from a little advice. Some of this advice I learned the hard way, especially today's show. Today's show is all about how to avoid illness or sickness or a general ruined trip when you're traveling to primitive locations. I've been fortunate enough to travel to some primitive locations to fish: Christmas Island, Honduras, in Central America, some of the Caribbean countries. And there have been people, including me, that have come down with different things that have basically, if not ruined the trip, made it very, very unpleasant. As I have learned about these things, those were completely avoidable. And that's what we're going to talk about today: how to avoid these things. So, about 90% of the problems that I've seen and encountered myself have come from 5 different things: either from the water you drink, from getting way too much sun, from foodborne illnesses. Some people actually get a cold or flu when they're down on a trip or on their way to a trip when you're flying on the airplane, or encounter some injuries. Now, of course, you can encounter big injuries, which you're probably not going to carry something in your pack or kit bag that is going to help you in that situation. But there are certainly other injuries we're going to talk about where you can either avoid them altogether, or if they do happen to you, you're going to be prepared. So let's go down this list. First of all, water. Water in these locations is the number one way that I've seen anyone get sick. Drinking bad water, or inadvertently getting that water. So let's take Christmas Island, for example. Christmas Island, the natives can drink the water, no problem. But you and me, coming from an area where we have excellent drinking water and are not used to any sort of bad water, we have to be extremely careful. And so when you get to one of these locations, what I suggest is making sure that you have some cash and making sure that you have communicated with the lodge or guides or outfit, whatever kind of outfit it is, to make sure that you're going to be able to get some bottled water. And if you can, even if the lodge says they provide bottled water, I still recommend trying to go buy a case of water, because I drink a lot of water and I like to drink water. I want to make sure that, I have enough water to recover and be ready for tomorrow. And it's generally more than the lodge thinks that you may need. So I stop, buy a case of water, and then I have that in my room. And, if you don't drink it all, then give it to your guide at the end of the trip. He'll be grateful for it as well. What I do with this water is I keep it in my room and I put a couple bottles right by the sink. I'll also take one of the towels or a t-shirt or something and cover up the faucet in the bathroom, so that I don't accidentally forget about this and go in there and brush your teeth with this water that could make you sick. That could be enough to make you really, really sick. A lot of people have encountered problems when they are drinking sodas or beer that have been in ice, and that ice is made from the local water, and you can get parasites or whatever it is that makes you sick can come from that. So if you're drinking sodas, beer, whatever, make sure that you're wiping the top of those cans off really, really good, and also all of your water that you're going to be drinking is going to come from bottled water. I also am very careful about coffee, and I love coffee. So, they don't boil the water before they make coffee. They heat it up. That may not be enough to kill whatever it is in the water that's making you sick. So I usually take some of the Starbucks little instant coffees with me and shake them up in a water bottle and just go with that, as opposed to a nice hot cup of coffee, which I dearly love. But I believe that's how I got sick one time before. So coffee. Be careful with that. Be careful with mixed drinks where there's ice in the glass. I don't suggest that either. So point is, be super careful with the water. Don't let any of it get in to your mouth when you're taking a shower. It's fine to take a shower in it, but don't let it get in your mouth. So that's one way. That's probably the way that you're going to avoid most of the illness on a trip, potential illness, I should say. Now, the second one is the sun. When you go to an area like Christmas Island, like Honduras, like Costa Rica, you're getting way closer to the equator than maybe you're used to. So, first couple of days, absolutely cover up. I'm talking about long pants, long sleeve shirt, a buff over your face and head, and a hat and sunglasses. If you're coming from I don't know, Ohio, you're definitely not used to that sun, and that sun will eat you alive. And if you go out there on the first day, you're having a great day, you get super sunburned, you may not even be able to fish the next day. So, first couple of days, cover up. I mean, seriously, cover up. If you got to break out the shorts, do it later in the trip. And because when you're waiting on those flats and the sun is behind your back so that you can see the fish well and your legs are wet, you do not feel that sun. And it is burning you like you can't believe. And many people end up with blisters and just an overall unpleasant trip after that. So, nothing like a pair of pants, nothing like a buff to cover up your face and the back of your neck. So, make sure you've got your sun protection. Now, foodborne illnesses can happen, not as often as water issues, but foodborne illnesses can happen. A lot of these cultures do not value refrigeration as we do. I've come back and seen our fresh catch just sit there and get covered with flies, and then I'll go clean the fish and take it to the kitchen and assume that they're going to put it in the refrigerator, and come back a couple hours later and there it is sitting out in the hot kitchen. So be super careful with that. I'm also very careful with things like fish salad, especially as they have it out for you to prepare your lunch for the day. And you just never know. That could have been sitting out all night long. And I'm pretty sure in your own kitchen you wouldn't have a tuna fish sandwich where the tuna had been sitting out all night. So be very careful with that kind of stuff. And, go with the safe bet. Even on a diet that I'm very careful about what I eat, when I go to one of these places, I'm going with a safe bet. And the safe bet is often peanut butter and jelly, maybe deli meat. Peanut butter and jelly is not going to let you down. Usually there's peanut butter and jelly around. Sometimes you can take your own peanut butter and jelly on one of these trips and live on peanut butter and jelly for a week. Better than getting sick, I can promise you that. Flu, cold, sickness, these are also things that can happen. Most of the time when this happens, you get it on the plane. When you're on your way, you're on a plane for 12 hours and somebody's sick on that plane and you get it. A lot of people that I know will always have a Z-Pack from their doctor in their bag in case this happens, in case you come down with, some sort of an illness. This is something you need to talk to your doctor about, and maybe you can take some medicine with you just in case something like this happens. That's a pretty good idea. I know other people that take other things from their doctors, like Cipro and things like that, in case they get really sick or some sort of intestinal stuff. If that's something you need to talk to your doctor about, it is definitely suggested that you think about those things. What would happen if you got that? All right, injuries. The biggest cause of injuries that I've seen on these trips are associated with your feet. One, people buy brand new boots and they don't break them in and they get blisters. Often, you get sand and stuff in your shoes and you get blisters. So you want to make sure that your boots that you're going to wear on the flats are going to be good fitting and break them in a little bit. If you have a foot care kit with you, that can help. A needle and some alcohol wipes where you can pop a blister, some moleskin where you can kind of protect that foot in case you do get a blister, and other things that you can carry in a medical kit like gauze. Neosporin is always in my kit. And most of these injuries that you're going to get are just minor things. They'd be minor things at home, but they can turn into a real unpleasant thing where you don't have a simple antibiotic cream at your disposal. And don't think that you're going to find that, because it probably doesn't exist where you are. So, water, sun, food, flu, and injuries. Those are the things that you're most likely to encounter. It's real simple. Take some anti-diarrhea medicine, take some Tums, take some electrolyte powders in case you do get sick and throw up everything for a couple of days. The electrolyte powders like Gatorade and Drip Drop and some other things like that can really help you to recover and get back out there and actually have some fun on this vacation that you paid a lot of money for. A medical kit with foot care, a Z-Pack maybe. Talk to your doctor about that. Take some Advil, take some aloe cream, some kind of sunburn cream, and take a lot of sunscreen. And when I'm talking about sunscreen, one thing that you need to be taking is like zinc oxide, 100% block, because when your lips get blistered and they're burnt so badly, you have to be completely blocked. A buff does the best job of that, but if, you keep it, you might want zinc oxide and a buff if you get burnt really badly. I also will take a couple extra pairs of sunglasses, because you're probably not going to find your favorite pair of sunglasses, not going to have a coastal place right there. So those are things that I'm packing on every trip, even if I'm going to the United States. It's just nice to have all that stuff. But these things can make a big, big difference in your enjoyment of your trip. You've worked really hard to be able to go on this trip. You can take a few things like what we just talked about to make sure that you are going to enjoy it to the best of your ability. So watch out for the water. Don't get too much sun. Be careful what you eat. On the plane, be super careful. Don't touch your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Wash your hands a bunch of times. And then when you're out there, wear the proper footwear and break it in before you go. All right. I hope that helps. That's How To Tuesday this week. We'll see you out there.